Okay, so today is 11.3 day 2, continuing with sectors and arcs and all those good things that go along with the circle. So today we're really going to focus on arc length. Okay, so remember, if you think about arc, that is on the circumference of the circle. So we're going to be looking at something in relationship to our circumference. So just to review, circumference formula is the circumference is equal to 2 pi r. And again, your radius is that distance from the center of the circle to any point on the circle. A little saying there, twinkle, twinkle, little star, circumference equals 2 pi r. A little way to help you remember that. So again, just practicing some of those. If the circumference of a circle is 12 pi, what is the length of its semicircle? Okay, so we're talking about the circumference of the circle is 12 pi. So that's going all the way around the circle. What would be its semicircle? Well, semicircle would be half of that. So that's going to be 12 pi divided by 2. So a semicircle would be 6 pi and then whatever units. If the circumference of a circle is 28 pi, what is the length of a quarter? Well, again, kind of thinking about when we look at area, we have a full circumference, we're looking for a quarter of it. So times by 1/4 or divide by 4. That'd be 7 pi units. So when we talk about arc length, we are talking about a portion of the circumference. So again, circumference is 2 pi r. If we talk about the length of a semicircle, I would just be dividing that by 2, because we're dividing that in half, which just cancels out, and that would become pi times r. And if you think about the length of a 90-degree arc, well, 90 degrees is 1/4 of a circle. So we'll be looking at a quarter, 2 pi r divided by 4. Reduce and reducing, the 2 and the 4 can reduce, 2 pi r over 2. So there is a formula that we can use to help us figure out for any arc length. Okay, so for any arc length, it's the measure of the arc divided by 360, just like it was for the area. We're finding out what portion of the arc we want, or the full circumference, and times that by 2 pi r, the actual circumference of this circle. So let's look at a couple examples of these. So practice, find the length of the following arcs. So again, it's going to be the measure of the arc, 40 degrees, so 40 over 360, times the circumference, which again is 2 pi r, and in this case r is 6. Okay, so that's 12 pi times 40 over 360. That simplifies to 4/3 pi. And in this case, we're talking about centimeters. Again, when you're entering this in your calculator, you can multiply the numbers on top. So you can do 40 times 2 and then divide by 360. And you can simplify that to get yourself a fraction there. Oh, sorry, 4 times, 12, not 4 times 2. Don't forget the 2 and the 6. You just multiply all your numbers there on top and then divide by 360. Our next one, okay, look at that notation. This is saying the arc DC, so the arc DC. And again, this has a 110-degree measure. So we have 110 over 360. We're given the diameter, so remember, be careful. The diameter is 14, the radius would be 7. So that portion, 110 over 360 times 2 pi r, 2 pi times 7. And again, multiply across the top. You got your 110 times 2 times 7. Divide that by 360. Make sure we write it as a reduced fraction. And that comes out to 77 pi over 18, and that's centimeters. So again, don't do anything with the pi symbol in your calculator. We do not need to worry about that. Then we've got a challenge one here. Find the circumference and radius of this circle. Okay, so we're given that this arc has 135 degrees for its measure. And so we think about the formula, the arc length. Is equal to the measure, right? So in this case, 135 over 360 times 2 pi r. But if I look at this problem, I don't know what r is. But what I do know is that this right here is my arc length. That is the 20. So we can plug it in there. 20 equals 135 over 360 times 2 pi r. Okay, I can do some multiplying here. I can do 20 times 360. I get 720, or 7,200, sorry. 135 times 2 pi r. Okay, then I can do 7,200 divided by 135. And then divided by 2. And that's going to give me a decimal, but if we look at that, that fraction works out to be 80 over 3. So we end up with 80 over 3 equals pi r. Hey, if I divide by pi, now we're not going to be able to simplify this because it's not going to be something pretty for us. It would work out to be 80 over 3 pi if we do simplify that, but we want to know what that actually is. So 80 divided by 3 pi, okay, is 80 divided by 3 pi is 8.5. So your radius is 8.5. Your diameter would be double that. So your diameter would be about 17. Okay. So we got a radius, we know our diameter, but they also want the circumference. So the circumference is 2 pi r. So 2 pi r. It's going to be about 53.4 inches. If we wanted to leave that as an exact, 2 pi times 80 over 3 pi. The pi's would cancel out there. Okay, I'd end up with 160 over 3 inches. So you can actually get an exact answer. So I said it's about 53.4. If you get exact, you can actually get to be